Thanks, Colin. Why don't we go ahead with your questions? I'm sure Gare's locked and loaded today, aren't you, Ryan? You can get started for us.
We spent a lot of time together yesterday after the game.
Okay. Jeremiah? Mr. Mason? Somebody?
Have you had time to look back over the film the last 2 games yet and see what worked the best that kind of changed things for you?
Yeah, one of the things that was different and helped us yesterday was the play of, Bennett's been talked about a lot since the game, and he was terrific. He was great. But like I've talked about with him, he's played well. It's been a matter, and I said it yesterday after the game, when he's been in foul trouble, obviously he hasn't been on the floor, and we have missed him. We haven't thrown him the ball enough. When he's been in, when we've thrown him the ball, he's been good in conference play and been relatively consistent with his effort and how well he's done. And yesterday it took a little while. We missed him a couple times, even with him getting 22 and 11. We still could have thrown him the ball more. But the play of Clint and Ted and the combination of those 3 guys, having 2 of those 3 in together, helped us defensively and it helped us in rebounding. And that stood out on the film. I thought Wes had another really good game, really patient. Did a good job of involving everybody. Then down the stretch, when we went to more of the ball screen, he found some openings and got some baskets. That was the thing that I thought made the most difference with our defense and with our rebounding, was the play of the 3 sophomore big guys.
And when you play Evansville, it's going to be a little different deal for Bennett because they got Muskavich, just one of the best players in the league.
Right.
Just what are you looking for out of Bennett in the matchup on Wednesday night?
Yeah, I think and I read what he said as well. I think the most important thing for Ben, he is a terrific young guy, and he's played well. The most important thing for him is to just keep, going at it, in practice and in film and in his workouts. And I don't know that I've talked about it a lot, but he's been in now for, I bet, the better part of a month. He comes in 2 days extra. We lift twice a week right now as a team, but he comes in 2 more days. So he's lifting 4 days a week. He's working individual workouts 4 days a week. And he's doing all of the things, Gare, that you want your guys doing to prepare themselves. And so that is at this point for him, Gare, to try to look at who we're playing and who the guy is. Mock being a senior and how good. He's not ready for all that yet. He needs to just keep working, and as he is doing, and grinding, and put his best foot forward every time he steps out there.
With as good as Mock is on the boards, do you try to design something to get him away from the rim when you're on offense, so that to help with the rebounding, or is it kind of
a little harder to do with who we're playing at that spot. Easier to do with Seth last year because you could move Seth around and you could play him everywhere, and those big guys had to chase him around. That's not for Ben. That's not for Ted. And when we put Clint there, we can move him around a little bit, but it doesn't fit this team as well. I think we got to keep going the direction we are and keep working to involve Ben more where he's having success, and throw that ball to him on the block. And knowing we're playing against a senior and a guy who's got size and a very good defender, very good rebounder. But we got to keep doing the things that have been good for us here, especially the last week.
You're past the halfway point of the conference season and finally seeing Evansville for the first time. What can you tell us about them? What do they look like?
They're it's mostly the same guys from the last 2 years. Ballantyne and the big fella are the ones that get talked about the most. They've both improved. Ballantyne's a better passer now. As a freshman and sophomore, he ran around and shot a lot. Last year he started to pass it better. This year he's really worked to get the ball to guys. He's got more patience. But I'll tell you, the most improvement is with their point guard, with Adam Wing. Blake Simmons is having a good year. And then the foreign kid off the bench. That's where the most improvement has come. DJ's better, then the big kid's better. But Wing is making jump shots. Their point guard last year really wouldn't shoot jump shots, and now he's not only shooting them, he's making them. So he's averaging double figures, where a year ago, if he made a basket or 2 a game, it was a bonus for their offense. He's now really involved with what they're doing and a much more aggressive scorer, a much more aggressive shooter. The foreign kid off the bench got 25 at Southern 2 games ago. So those guys have improved tremendously. So it isn't going to be different guys. It's the same lineup, same guys. They're the obvious a year older, but boy, they're better. And those guys that would be your quote-unquote role players from a year ago aren't anymore. They're legit guys.
Jake, with Clint, he's been more involved in the last couple of games. Is just a factor of him feeling better perhaps at the knee?
That might be most of it. So he had a hard time practicing. They're coming out of that was all the way back to the Missouri State game when he banged up that knee, and he just wasn't able to move very well at practice. And he was trying to gut it out and trying to fight through it, but he couldn't get much done. And there wasn't a lot that you could do for it from a rehab standpoint. The things that Bish was doing were the right things. It just took longer than what we thought it was going to take. So, him being healthy now has helped him a lot. And then having some success. He's practiced well, but having some success at Bradley, playing good yesterday. Because I think we can see, when he gets moving around, defensively and rebounding, and he gets moving around offensively, if he's got an opportunity to get to the basket, he's got the ability to really play well. So a little bit like Bennett. Bennett's had more opportunities. You can see his confidence growing. Clint hasn't had as many minutes, hasn't had as many opportunities until the last two games, and so hopefully that continues for him.
With Bennett, you mentioned this yesterday, conditioning. Would you have to kind of remind him that it's a process, that it's a long haul sort of deal?
Yeah, he gets tired fast, doesn't he? In some ways, I guess, it's more just trying to. Those extra workouts are good for him, and then more, it's just he's a young big kid, and with young big guys, it takes time. Their improvement takes time. Their conditioning takes time. That's the way it is with most of the young big guys that I've been around. It's just part of the process. So, right now, like I said, the things he's doing well, just continuing to put him in those situations and encourage him to do them as well as he can. The one spot where he does need to keep working is to keep himself out of foul trouble. So, we got to keep working on that conditioning. Yes, but he's got to keep working to keep himself out of foul trouble.
Two-parter here.